Hello and welcome to this episode of the Excalibur podcast hosted by me, Kyle Brooks. Today we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic. It is the difference between implementation and qualification. See, my wife and I had a discussion the other day, and we don't usually argue about many things, but this particular topic is something that we disagree on quite substantially. You see, a lot of people that come from a very education bound or education first, certification background will tend to say that you need that qualification, and being of experience doesn't get you the same sort of results. Where I tend to differ, and why my viewpoint on this is very different, is I found from a very early age that education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Most people, when they stop being educated, i.e., they've got their degree, they've got their diploma, they've got their master's, they stop right there. They shut off to any other learning. Me, being from a previously disadvantaged background, having to drop out of school in grade 10 and not having any other formal education further than that meant that I needed to educate myself to become a success in the world. I liken this to somebody that is a personal trainer. You see, they may have the qualifications to be a personal trainer, but if they're in crappy shape, i.e., they're overweight, they look tired all the time, and they are training people, in my humble opinion, that does not mean that you are implementing what you learned. Therefore, that person is essentially trying to train somebody to do something that they don't do themselves. On the other side of the coin, you have somebody that has been a bodybuilder for the majority of their life. They don't have the qualification behind them, but they've taken the long route to get to the results that they want. Therefore, the knowledge that they have is not disqualified by the fact that they don't have a certification behind their name. Rather, it's amplified by the experience that they have. You having experience trumps any formal education 100% of the time. I would rather be with a guide that knows how to navigate up to that mountain and has done it 1,000 times than somebody that is qualified to read a map. Why? Because the map is never the territory. It is a saying that we have in NLP, meaning that if you look at a map and you go and explore that road, the street, and the city that you're trying to navigate, it's never going to have the same amount of detail and the same amount of aspects as actually being there and navigating that road. This is exactly the same when it comes to anything, when it pertains to a qualification or pertains to a certification behind your name. You see, if Elon Musk said that you could have a degree and you could still be an idiot, and I completely agree with him. How many people do you know that have the knowledge to do, be, and have anything in their life, but they choose to settle for average? They make the conscious decision to remain in their current state. And by doing that, don't you think that that is not actually practicing what you preach? Rather, do as I say, not as I do? No, no, no. That is not the way that we see fit here. You have to lead from the front if you're going to be somebody that is going to be educating other people. And from my aspect, that is a exceptionally right way to do things. You see, I know people that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars going to college for a college education. And yet, when they come out into the real world, the first thing that they do is forget everything that they've learned. I tell you, if you do and take the long way to get there, i.e., you've had to make many, many mistakes, you never forget something. I remember that I was working on a project and it was for programming a bag and box machine. These are the machines that are probably about 20, 30 foot in length and about 8 feet across. They make the bags that go into your wine bag and box. And there was this issue that I was struggling with where when you go into the program of the PLC, which is a process and logic controller, it's a little box that looks like this that controls the entire machine. There was an instance where it was faulting out our motion, the servos that turn the wheels that draw the material. And I sat there struggling for about 12 hours trying to fix this problem. And eventually we found it by a stroke of luck that it was some small bit that had been turned on that needed to be unlatched. Now I tell you, struggling at something for that amount of time, sticking with a problem until you solve it, means that I have never forgotten where that bit is and how to turn that bit off. And if that instance reoccurs, you know what? Who's the first person they're going to call? They're going to call me, not the guy that has the qualification, that has the degree behind his name. Why? Because he's never been in that situation. You see, you can prepare all that you want to and have all the book smarts that you possibly can have. But if you lack the experience to implement it and choose not to implement that, I guarantee you I can put my name behind that you are going to be half the person that you could if you had the experience that somebody else has. And that's why there's a man, a machinist, he's a mechanical engineer that is phenomenal at the previous company that I used to work with in South Africa. Uncle Nelson is his name, 70 years old, one of the most phenomenal knowledge or wealths of knowledge that you'll ever experience. He has horrible eyesight right now, but he can go up to a lathe with a cigarette in his mouth, set it up, and machine a part to 0.1 of a millimeter. Now, that is not something that you can learn how to do in a book. Does he have book smarts? Yes. But he also has about 5 decades of experience behind his name to be able to get to that stage. That is the crux of the matter over here. Education is going to be exceptionally important. Don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting it. But what I'm saying is that you need to go to people with the implication that they have actually implemented that knowledge. So when you go to a hairdresser, for example, or a barber, and you see 2 barbers there, one with a really good haircut and one with a really bad haircut, which barber do you go to? Do you go to the one with the good haircut in the barber shop, or the one with the bad haircut? Most people would say the one with the good because he looks the best. Me, I'd go to the one with the bad haircut. Or, yes, I'd go to the one with the bad haircut. Why? Because he is the person that probably cut the other barber's hair. Therefore, the one with the good haircut was cut by the one with the bad haircut. You have to think about things from the perspective of knowledge is critical, but it's absolutely useless if you don't implement it. It's the same like a brake. When my wife drives, I'm pretty sure that she does not utilize the brake as much as I do, which is a good thing and a bad thing. You have to utilize every aspect and every single tool in your arsenal to get the results that you want in life. And only by doing that do you have the capability to live up to the best and full potential of who you are. Now I'll ask you, if you had to suffer The pain of regret or the pain of discipline? Which would you choose? The pain of discipline. Why? Because by implementing discipline and implementing all of the things that you learn, slowly but surely, you will get results that will trump anything that a formal education can get you. So marry the two up. Make them a union that will move you forward in life. Well, that's all that we have time for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this session, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day. You know where to find us. You can find us on Excalibur Coaching on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, as well as Spotify. Have a fantastic day, guys.